Thanks for tuning in to this chapter of Manchester United's season on Tears of Joy. Please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. The win against Sheriff was fairly routine, a job well done and 3 points on the board. The match was the last in the month of September, and Christian Eriksen, deservedly so, was awarded the Player of the Month award. A standout amongst a host of great performances in the month, it was still difficult to believe he joined the club on a free transfer. Then came the international break, the last break in club fixtures until the World Cup. Many players flew out, and some were perhaps unjustly left behind. In particular, Dalot's performances for Portugal were all the rage, as he managed to score his first brace of his senior career in a 4-0 win against Czech Republic. The concern for injuries was always there when players went to play for their countries. Harry Maguire would return from England duty with a hamstring injury, but thankfully for United, most players returned unscathed. It also gave players like Rashford and Martial more time to recover from their various injuries. The Premier League also announced their monthly awards for September. After an especially good performance against Arsenal with 2 goals and an assist, as well as an assist against Leicester, Marcus Rashford was handed the Player of the Month award. In similar vein, after 2 wins out of 2, including the satisfying victory against Arsenal, Erik ten Hag was handed the Manager of the Month award. Congratulations to all parties. Long may it continue. It was Derby Day, red versus blue for a place on the Manchester throne. These were the starting 11s for both teams. Ten Hag stayed loyal to the side that beat Arsenal 3-1. Ronaldo and Casemiro again started on the bench, as Rashford returned up front and McTominay retained his place. Martial was named on the subs bench for a pleasant surprise after a lengthy spell on the sidelines. For City, Rodri had picked up an injury and after having started all of City's matches thus far in the season, was a glaring omission. The exclusion of Diaz and Laporte were also talking points, as Ake and summer signing Akanji were paired together for the first time. A battle of the giants, or so we hoped. Who would reign supreme? United came out trying to press from the front. McTominay was tight on Silva, while Eriksen marked De Bruyne. This left a big hole in midfield, allowing Haaland to drop in to help in the build-up. Varane follows him all the way and commits a foul. City's movement caused United trouble all afternoon. Grealish makes a curved run down the line as Cancelo finds him. He nudges it past Dalot, who clumsily brings him down, for a yellow card in only the 2nd minute of the match. Misplaced passes were aplenty from United in the first half. Dalot's pass to Bruno lands at Ake's feet, who gives it to Gundogan. Gundogan gives it back to him, and Ake finds Haaland dropping into that same space in midfield. Haaland plays it wide to Grealish, who charges upfield before playing in Silva. He plays a looping ball towards the back post. Haaland meets it and tries to head it back where it came from. McTominay is there, but shanks the clearance. It falls straight to De Bruyne, who shoots, which goes straight into Gea, who makes a save. The ball yet again bounces to a City player as Silva shoots, but McTominay is there to block it and it goes out for a corner. Not the best start to the game for United. And soon, United would find themselves behind. Grealish tries to pass the ball cross-field. Sancho is alert and nips in, but Akanji gets a foot in to halt him in his tracks. He brings it forward before finding De Bruyne, who finds Akanji, who had continued to run forward. He passes it to Foden. Foden cuts in field before playing it to Grealish. He lays it off to Gundogan, who plays to Cancelo. He moves towards the box before playing in Silva. He plays a low-driven cross as Eriksen allows Foden to get in front of him. He's all by himself as he curls it first time towards the near post, and it's in before De Gea could even react. A cheeky finish, and an absolutely disastrous start to the match for United. City 1, United 0. United's first touches near City's box came in the 10th minute. United swarm Silva near the sideline, but he's able to wriggle free and find Cancelo. Cancelo tries to play it down the line, but Antony blocks the pass, and the ball lands at Bruno's feet. Bruno plays it across to Rashford, whose first touch is poor, allowing Gundogan to recover and clear. Soon after, United recover the ball in their half. Fernandes tries the outside of the foot pass he pulled off against Arsenal. Rashford gives it his all in a race against Ake, but Ederson comes and clears. The only moments United had in the first were through City mistakes. Cancelo's pass gets cut out by McTominay. Dalot recovers and lofts it up to Bruno. Bruno hits a diagonal ball towards Sancho. Walker is there, but it's a swing and a miss, as Sancho latches onto it in the box. He finds an on-rushing Eriksen, who stumbles as he makes contact with the ball, and it trickles into Ederson's arms. Grealish was having all kinds of joy on the left wing. He skips past Dalot, plays a 1-2 with Haaland, then skips past Martinez, who brings him down. Gundogan steps up to take the resultant free kick, and City come within inches of a 2-0 lead as a shot comes off the upright. City were relentless down the left flank. Silva shrugs off Dalot and plays another ball towards the penalty spot. Foden gets onto it and shoots in a deja vu moment, but this one flashes wide. United's errant passing will continue all throughout the half. Rashford receives a pass from Bruno and tries to play it out to Malacia, but it's woefully short and Foden is able to nip in. Malacia is forced to trip him up as he and Haaland charge down on goal and receives a yellow. City came forward again with Haaland finding space. Foden picks it up and charges forward. He gets into shooting range and fires. Varane blocks but sustains an injury and goes down. City have no intention of stopping as they get away not one, not two, not three, but 4 shot attempts before De Bruyne's shot is tipped over by De Gea. Varane will be forced off the pitch and this will spell disaster for United. De Bruyne swings in the ensuing corner. McTominay, in the spot where Varane would have been, is preoccupied with Gundogan, as Eriksen makes a futile effort to keep Haaland at bay. Haaland outleaps everyone to get his head onto it. Malacia tries desperately to clear it off the goal line, but the City players are adamant that the ball had crossed the line, and Michael Oliver concurs. The replay showed just how close Malacia was, but it was indeed a goal. City 2, United 0. When it rains, it pours, and things would only get worse for United not 4 minutes later. United continue trying to press City, almost man-marking. Grealish recognises this and drops deep, as Dalot stays home. This leaves him acres of space to run into, as Eriksen is caught between a rock and our hard place. Eriksen finally commits to closing down Grealish, but he easily plays around him to De Bruyne. De Bruyne gets into his favourite position and plays his patented back post cross. There isn't too much wrong with Varane's starting position, but the cross is absolutely spot on as Haaland uses all of his 6'5" frame to reach it, and the ball is dispatched in between De Gea and the post. Credit where credit's due, it was a ridiculous pass by De Bruyne, putting it only where Haaland could reach it, who controls the finish just enough to sneak it past the post. An unstoppable goal if there ever was one. City 3, United 0. United's next chance again came from a City error. Foden passes to De Bruyne, but it's off target as De Bruyne can't get it under control. Sancho picks it up and drives in field, before laying it off to Bruno. He nutmegs Silva and does a pirouette, before taking a shot from deep, but is comfortably gathered by Ederson. There were a couple of first-time substitutions as both Walker and Varane succumb to their injuries. When it rains, it pours, and sometimes it floods the neighbourhood. Rashford finds himself on the left wing. He's double-teamed and passes to Eriksen. Eriksen plays the ball across. It reaches Antony who takes a shot, but is blocked. The deflection lands kindly at De Bruyne's feet. He charges forward as Eriksen tries desperately to get back. As he releases Haaland down the left, it's a straight-up race between Foden and Malacia on the near side. Eriksen tries to make the tactical foul, but the ball is long gone. Haaland summons his inner De Bruyne as he flashes an inviting ball across the box. Foden ultimately wins the foot race and sneaks in ahead of Malacia to poke it home. Sorry, Fergie. City 4, United 0. Some fans chose to leave the stadium early as the half drew to a close. Halftime stats would read like this. It was absolute domination by City, no two ways about it. Even the win probability was bantering United, as it stubbornly refused to tick down to 0. Luke Shaw came on to replace Malacia for the second half. The City press was noticeably less intense in the second half, understandably so, allowing United a little more room to play. In the 56th minute, those who stayed behind would be treated with a sublime goal. Eriksen played a long switch towards Antony, whose touch is absolutely brilliant as he kills the ball dead, turning Grealish around in the process. Antony comes inside on his left foot and unleashes a curler, which beats a flailing Ederson for an absolute wonder goal. Nothing more than a consolation, and the celebration is muted. But what a bloody goal, son. City 4, United 1. Shortly following the goal, Ten Hag brought on Casemiro and Martial for his return from injury to replace McTominay and Rashford. Unfortunately, the substitutions did not fix United's midfield issues. Casemiro is dragged out towards City's fullback as Antony is not tied to his man. This thematically leaves Bernardo Silva in tons of space in midfield. He plays an early ball to Haaland as he beelines into the box. He gets a powerfully driven shot away as Martinez tries desperately to get the block in, but it goes just wide. City came right back again, and this time Haaland would get the record-breaking goal. De Bruyne plays it out to Grealish as Gomez makes the overlap. Antony doesn't do enough to track the run as it leaves a 3-on-2 on the ball side with him out of the play. De Bruyne plays it out to the overlapping fullback, who, for the umpteenth time, cuts it back towards the penalty spot. Eriksen isn't there to cut out the pass as the centre-backs drop deep. Haaland is there to hit it first time, and the ball flashes past De Gea for his hat-trick. City 5, United 1. In the 70th minute, Fred replaced Sancho. Oh, the pain wasn't over for United. De Bruyne picks it up in midfield and fancies a run against Fred. He flicks it past him, before playing Grealish down the line as Bruno stops tracking the run to help Fred. Grealish again has space to exploit. He passes to Haaland as Foden makes a diagonal run across the box, Casemiro gets oh so close to getting in the tackle, but Haaland is able to squeeze the ball through to Foden, who is somehow unmarked. He's free to turn and fire. And it's a second hat-trick of the game for Manchester City. Utterly embarrassing. City 6, United 1. City then made wholesale changes. The newcomers were eager to press. De Gea gives it to Casemiro, who passes to Lindelof. He plays a chipped ball to Dalot, and Dalot is off and running in a rare moment where United beat City's press. He lays it off to Eriksen, who hits a diagonal towards the sprinting Luke Shaw. He holds it on the edge of the box before flicking it towards Fred's darting run. Fred brings it down brilliantly and gets a shot away, which Ederson saves, only for it to land perfectly in Martial's path for him to head it home. City 6, United 2. And the fun wasn't over for the number 9. Bruno slides the ball through as he is closed down by 2 City players. As the ball comes to him, Martial gets his body in between it and Cancelo, and is awarded a penalty as he is brought down. He steps up, and literally could not have put it more in the top corner. He's proud of that one. City 6, United 3. And finally, that would be that. Full-time stats would read like this. The final score flattered United, as they were thoroughly outplayed in all aspects of the match. The possession, passing, and shooting stats finished closer than they should have, as City took their foot off the gas in the second half. A truly disastrous result against our noisy neighbours. An utter embarrassment in front of the wider footballing world. And 1, 2, 3 steps backwards. From minute 1, United were under the cosh, and by minute 8, were down 1-0. For the second time this season, we were 4-0 down at half. Blink, and you were back in August. We were timid, shy, and afraid, with our tail between our legs. A performance unworthy of a massive derby such as this. Where to even begin? There was poor pass after poor pass, especially in the first. A total lack of conviction in our play. It was like we didn't even want the ball. The midfield was an absolute shambles, being dragged here, there, and everywhere, leaving massive gaps for City players to exploit. Eriksen had probably his poorest performance as a United player, and just one game into October, that September Player of the Month award was quickly becoming old news. While understandably not his strength, his defensive reading of the game left a lot to be desired. McTominay failed to continue his positive form from matches gone by, as he often looked a deer in headlights and was constantly dragged out of position all over the pitch. He justified his place in the starting 11 thus far, but perhaps this gave Ten Hag the excuse to finally throw Casemiro into the lineup. Bruno ran himself about as he always does, but was a major culprit in giving balls away, and lacked any measurable impact on the match. The fullbacks had a torrid time against City's wide attacks, both picking up early yellows and just looking well overmatched against Foden and Grealish. Shaw came in and did an admirable job, and it would be interesting to see if he could get himself back into the starting lineup. Antony scored a banger, but along with Sancho, continually left the fullbacks exposed, as they were caught pressing high but too slow to recover to help on City's numerous overlapping runs. Rashford was a ghost, absolutely anonymous, while looking very rusty with the few touches he did have. For him too, the individual award faded into distant memory. Funnily enough, despite conceding 6, United's 3 centre-backs probably had the least blame to share. They could have been tighter to their man on occasion, for Foden's final goal for instance, but for the most part they were positionally sound. The work for the bulk of City's goals came before the ball arrived in the box, and there was very little the centre-backs could do for the one-touch finishes. Martial came on and scored an albeit inconsequential brace. If anyone needed it, it was him, and hopefully this would be a springboard for the rest of the season. Ronaldo of course didn't get a look in, with Ten Hag stating that the decision was made out of respect for his big career. Valid or not, the man suddenly didn't look happy. Ten Hag of course had to bear his share of responsibility. Considering that the gap in midfield was present before and after half-time, it's reasonable to assume that it was partly due to Ten Hag's pressing game plan gone awry. And while he can't be blamed for sticking with the same lineup that beat Arsenal, perhaps starting Eriksen in the pivot was a naive decision in hindsight, not to mention leaving Casemiro on the bench. He rounded out the trophy trio, who all had to begin from scratch. On a day like this, it wasn't one individual that was culpable. It was a collective malfunction, and one United had to learn from, and fast. This was how the Premier League table looked at the conclusion of Matchday 9. United's next opportunity to right the ship would come against Omonia Nicosia in the Europa League. A win would be crucial in our bid to finish top of the group. How would the players react after such a devastating result? Join me here for Chapter 10 of United Season. So that's the end of this chapter. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more Manchester United content. If you're into FIFA Career Mode, check out my second channel, Tears of Joy Gaming. Bicycle, hit that like button on the way out. Until next time, peace.